Communications Minister and the CID boss is currently addressing the media to make a policy statement on SIM box fraud following the arrest of 6 illegal SIM box operators. And currently, the CID boss is addressing the media. We now cross over live to the police headquarters.
At Paracoa State, a search in his shop revealed 2 hypermedia CG 1.5 SIM box machine, 224 SIM cards, 8 heavy-duty batteries, and 2 UPS. A duplicate docket has been forwarded to the Attorney General's Department for study and prosecution in the High Court. The latest amongst them was on June 27, 2013, and I briefed you yesterday on that operation. So, Mr. Minister, we have been working assiduously to clamp down on the activities of these SIM fraudsters. Well, we know that the fraudsters, the criminals, are always trying to be ahead of the police. But we know with the right form of information from the general public, and then with the cooperation of the service providers and the NCA, we would nip the problem in the bud. Mr. Minister, you are welcome to the CID headquarters. So this is just a brief account of what we have been able to achieve within this short period that the task force has been working. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Those who were arrested. Okay.
I'm saying that maybe some of you were not here, so you may want him to repeat the current one. I don't know. You were here, so you have to talk.
They were all here. Where were these people from?
This was from Salam Dar.
Yes.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Director, and a very good afternoon to your gallant officers, ladies and gentlemen of the media, and the Chief Executive Officer of the Telecom Chamber. Mr. Kwaku Sechiado is also here with us. On my right-hand side is our Director for PPME, Mr. Issa Yaya. We first want to congratulate the task force for this intervention. I must say that the day before the arrest, the ministry paid a courtesy call on the IGP, and SIMBox fraud was one of the issues that we discussed with him at length, and he reiterated the police service's commitment in ensuring that you deal with all forms of fraud, be it SIMBox or whatever. And for this to have happened just within 24 hours of that assurance is a clear testimony to the fact that the CID and the police and service in general are doing very, very well, and with the needed support from the general public, you will be able to make our country much, much more safer than we even have it now. Clearly, for the nation to have lost an estimated amount of 40 million Ghana cedis just from the operations of this index case is not the best, and we want to say that at this stage they've not been convicted by a competent court of the land yet, but like Silas Mana said, the evidence is heavily against me. We will encourage you to, within the shortest possible time, take necessary action to put them before the courts. Whilst that is ongoing, we know that there are times that you can also allow for plea bargaining, such that they may help us to be able to identify the real barons, the real gurus who may be behind these fraudulent activities. Because sometimes we may go for just the people who are implementing it and leave out the real gurus who are at the background and orchestrating all these fraudulent activities. We want to encourage you, if through your interactions with them, your interrogation and all that, you can be able to convince them into entering a plea bargain with you, said that will help for us to be able to unravel the real barons and gurus who are behind this fraudulent activity. That will be much more preferred, because by so doing we will be able to deal with the matter at the root rather than tackling it at either the branch or the stem. In doing so, do not rule out any outfit, because I say this, here we are with numerous SIMs. These SIMs can be traceable to particular telecommunication companies. We have a situation where we have embarked on SIM registration, and so if you did a contact tracing, what are the names that are associated with these SIMs that are before us? If there are names associated, it should be possible to trace those names into the register and identify. If there are no names, then the telecommunication companies that have their SIMs here would have to answer some questions. Are these SIMs being manufactured as counterfeit that they are not aware? If they are part of their consignments, how do they exit their outfits without their authorization? Or do they exit their outfits with their authorization? These are all questions that the CID would have to explore. Again, per the technologies that exist, if it is happening, let's say, around the police headquarters area, the base station will clearly be recording such incidents, and with appropriate plotting, it will be easy for the CID to be informed that we suspect that such an activity is happening around this particular base station, and that kind of information will also assist you in subsequent arrest. And so that kind of collaboration is needed. Again, if a particular SIM is even registered and that SIM is being used for such an activity, a telecommunication company that owns that particular SIM per se will be able to identify that it is not possible for a human being, even if the human being is a parrot, to be engaging in communication, let's say 100 times in 1 hour or 200 times in 1 hour. And so that in itself should begin to raise some questions. I'm raising all these as possible scenarios, such that we will not just look at these people who have been arrested, let the law deal with them, and if there are some gurus or barons behind, we will leave them. These people, if convicted, will serve their jail term, but the real gurus or barons will still be in the system and will just procure some of these equipment, and the illicit business will continue. Again, intersectoral collaboration is needed. Our borders would have to be much more tighter. How did this equipment get into the country? I have not come across so far any company in Ghana that produces these equipment. So clearly, these are imports. These are not the kind of imports that we want into our country. And so how did they get in? If we could extend our contact tracing to even unravel how they came in, that will also help us to expand the domain of the investigation and then to bring in more of the people who have been assisting in one way or the other in this. As it is, the only people who have been apprehended are those who are in your hands. But all we are asking for is that extend your tentacles, use the strategy of plea bargaining, and let us see whether we cannot rope in much more corporates into the situation. I want to also introduce the international dimension. The fact that most of these calls are coming from some particular countries, and I will not want to mention the names of those countries, may be signs that we must begin to collaborate with those countries in terms of dealing with the source of this fraud. We lose money, and those countries also invariably will lose money as a result of this. And I'm very sure this will be one of the areas that they will collaborate. But once we are able to get to the bottom of this, the data that will be derived from it will help us to know how best, through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, through Interpol and all that, we can have a broader collaboration with other countries to make sure we are able to nip this in the bud, if not reduce it to the barest minimum. So we want to congratulate you for the good work that you are doing. Together with the telecommunication companies, the NCA and the ministry, we will continue to support you and provide you with the needed motivation that you will require for you to concentrate your attention also on Simbox fraud. The nation is bleeding as a result of this. We need the money to improve our road infrastructure. We need the money to build more hospitals, to build more schools, and we cannot allow this hemorrhage to continue. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. First, have the minister here. I believe you have some questions for you, and the floor is now open for you to ask your questions. Yes, just a few. Yes, we will take about 4 of the answers.
My name is Maxine.
Communications Minister Dr. Omane Boamah addressing the issue of Simbox fraud at the police headquarters in Accra, and he's charged the CID boss to take the necessary action to arraign the suspect before court. He's also charged the CID boss to consider a plea bargain to unravel the barons behind this fraudulent activity. And Ghana and telecommunication service providers jointly lost a total of 40 million cedis to illegal Simbox operators within the last 6 months. And a joint anti-fraud task force operation on Thursday busted 6 members of a gang, including a father and son. So Dr. Omane Boamah just shortly addressed the media on Simbox fraud in the country. And that's all for now. Join us again at 3:30.